Team Beachbody. And I wanted to give you a sense of where I felt the business was going, what I thought is possible. Because if you look at where we came from, even when we launched the thing in 2007, and where we thought it might go, and just how it would grow, we had no idea actually how it would grow. We had no idea what the shape would be. We thought we had a vision, and but as you know, success or progress doesn't happen in a straight line. It's sort of this jagged line where you're and about the business of equipment. For some reason, infomercials were marketing some new gadget every year, some new gimmick or weight loss sort of miracle pill. So there's an opportunity there, and I had seen that with the prior company with 8-minute ads, and we intended to test that. But of course, if it didn't work, we were prepared to try the next thing. We had a whole list of ideas that we were going to try. But the underlying concept that we started with was, if we could make the living room or the garage or the home as gratifying as a place to work out as the gym, if we could get people better results than they get in the gym, then that is going to be a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for us. And so, of course, that pitch kind of worked, and we raised the money, and we got going. And it got started with this thing, Great Abs Guaranteed, that we hired Tony Horton, and just getting started. We're just figuring this thing out. As you know, we're still fighting customer service issues, trying to figure out what the most efficient way to deal with coach relations and customer service. We're still sort of, while this massive plane is in flight, we're trying to rewire all the very intricate technology systems and make it so that we can manage this very complex business without having to just say, okay, stop for 6 months, let us fix it all, and then we'll get it, and then we'll launch it again. No, we got to keep it busy. So while we're fixing all this stuff, and many people can be like, oh, I got the wrong Shakeology again, or the fulfillment, but there's real fulfillment issues. And then in today's world, one post on Facebook makes it look like it's a problem that hundreds of thousands of people are having, when it's actually, when we look at the percentages are very small. So you can take this sort of negative outlook like, oh, the opportunity is already sailed, or there's operational or customer service, or whatever types of issues that you could look at. If you're a cynic, you look at that company and you go, that's just another one of those, or that opportunity is already done. Or you can look at it from my perspective, and here's my perspective. I never, in my life, I always wanted to be in business, right? And I've told this story before about how when I was in 3rd grade, how excited I was when I got a briefcase for my birthday, and that's where I could carry my books to school. The other kids had backpacks, I had my briefcase. And I will say I'm very proud of my 7-year-old son, because his favorite Christmas present was the safe, his combination lock safe, that he keeps all his money and jewels in. Very proud. I've told that story, that I always wanted to be in business. I always wanted to be productive that way. But I never thought that I would see something come together like this, that just would sort of coalesce, I think that's a word, right? This sort of would come together, and it still hasn't come together, right? So we've got this infomercial business that does incredibly well, and that creates this lead program and creates these famous brands that you can talk about on Facebook and Instagram. I had breakfast this morning with 10 coaches that qualified for a breakfast last March, and it was just fascinating to hear the stories that it's not necessarily the program that does the best for them isn't necessarily the one that's doing the best on TV, it's the one that they're doing. Vital behavior number 1, right? Be the proof the product works. That was sort of the general theme, that's the one that has the most success at selling. So, that infomercial business helps a little bit, but the network business is this business unto itself, where you guys offer the opportunity to get results that the person who does the program or attempts the program just off of TV has nowhere near the likelihood of success. And in fact, we've been talking at the company, vital behavior number 3 is personal development. And so I'm reading this book, Change Anything, right now, which is by the same people that do another one of my favorite books, Influencer. And in Change Anything, they talk about the vital behaviors, and they talk about crucial moments. And what's interesting about listening to the coaches talk about their success with promoting their own struggles, their authenticity with the program, and how that attracts people to them is, we thought that TV would be much more important to the network. We thought that was going to be, how you would get leverage. But in fact, you're showing that by supporting people, you're getting them through these things that they talk about in Change Anything, crucial moments where it's likely that you might fail. So when we look back at this opportunity, and I'm saying infomercials, network marketing, and now we have the certification business that's growing, what we call Beachbody Live. I look at the way these 3 things are coming together, and they've all got a life of their own. And what did $1 billion in sales last year, I can now see for the first time in my life, and I just, for a second, just, if you can put yourself in my shoes, I was a guy, I can remember talking to John about, we had this goal of a $100 million company, and now I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, health and fitness problem, obesity problem, healthcare industry is a multi-trillion-dollar-a-year business. Companies spend less than, I think it's $7 billion a year on wellness. Insurance companies have a real problem in the gap between the wellness activities of their insured people and what it's costing them. So they've got a real problem that insurance companies have to solve. Companies have to solve this. But we as human beings need to find a way to solve this if we want to get the most out of life and not just eat, drink, and be merry our way through life. So there's like this opportunity that transcends $1 billion and has this it has $3 billion. It has like $5 billion. This has like $10, $20 billion a year of potential, and I'm not even talking outside of the US and Canada. So I look at the way these 3 businesses are sort of shaping, and I hear people go, well, you got customer service issues, you got technology issues, you got fulfillment issues, and I go, yeah, guess what else we got? We got traction as the first company in decades that is really getting people healthy. And
the first company that's really getting people healthy.
That's because of your belief and your prioritization, your understanding that, let's imagine, you have to think, that the company is behind it. 741 people as of Monday, okay? 741 people just like you, meaning human beings, went through school, some of them went to college, all of them trying to make a living, all of us trying to organize this big company to support these 200-something thousand coaches, almost 300,000 coaches, and figure out how to do it in an ecosystem with 3 disparate systems, meaning infomercial or direct marketing, network marketing. These 2 things support each other really well, and now we're starting to see the support from the Beachbody Live business as being something that takes those brands and puts them in gyms, because the averages with gyms and how these 2 businesses are going to work so well together is people would still like a social experience with their fitness, but they're not going to do it every day. So they can work out at home thanks to the support of the network and Facebook and social and these challenge groups, but they can also plug into the experience at the gym and get a social experience that those 2 things now have synergy. And we're starting to see these things come together and launching them in a way that's synergistic, that transcends whatever we could have imagined. I said at the beginning of the year in Surge, I drew this example of the most trusted professions. I talked about doctors and nurses and pharmacists being and dentists being the most trusted professionals in a community. And even this morning when I had my breakfast, there was 2 hygienists, a nutritionist, and a pharmacist. I think those are the 4 sort of allied professions that were there at breakfast out of the 10 people that were there. So here are people who are and a teacher. So it's interesting to see this movement of people who got into industries to help people and to serve people, and are now drawn to this idea of being a Team Beachbody coach. And in North America, I think it's close to 5 million people occupy the professions of those most trusted 25 professions in the community, but there is not a thing that exists like a coach. So when I look at this business, I look at $1 billion last year, really 500 million of that was from the network. And I see we've just gotten started. We are only limited by our creativity. The stories that I heard this morning and I heard last night in our Elite 10 dinner of the ingenuity, that's the word, ingenuity? Yeah. Time change. The ingenuity that our coaches are having of deploying the ideas that we create at corporate. And we come up with these things, so 3-day refresh, we thought would be something really great to kick off a program. And then it started to become this thing that people do every month. I'm doing one starting Monday. Who's in with me? All right, love it. Quesadillas outside, 10 minutes. Let's do it. Jeez. Ironically, I have yet to really have cheese on this trip, and I'm very disappointed. I thought, kind of in Hawaii, they give you the Hawaiian cheese ring around your neck. What's the deal? Hola, gracias por the cheese. Okay. So as this business starts to come together, the limitations that can, if you look at it in a cynical way, and you go, oh, that thing's broken. And I asked this morning to the coaches, I said, look, none of the coaches there had any background in network marketing. And so I said, do you now come across that pyramid scheme thing? Does it feel icky? And Melanie Mitchell, our top coach, said, I really don't even feel like this is network marketing. This feels like we're helping people. We're promoting challenge groups. We get people in it. Then they realize when they post their results that people can make money from it. They're like, oh, I'd like to make some money. So they get involved in it, but they don't get involved in it in a way that is, hey, I'm having a bunch of people over to my living room to present them a business opportunity. Why don't you come over and bring your checkbook? It's not pitched that way, which is sort of the MLM model. Instead, it's being pitched in a way of, I want to help you achieve your goals to lead a healthy, fulfilling life. And by the way, as you start to see results, if you want to get a discount on this, you can become a coach, and as you start to promote it, you'll see that other people want to be involved with you. And so that model, in a country with 300 million people in it, or a continent with close to 350 million people, we've got the opportunity to create this a career that didn't exist before. So, I see posts, Amy had a great post yesterday, Amy Silverman, one of our top 10, where she's like, you were sort of way a little in the background of this giant room, and she's like, why doesn't everybody do this? And that's the way I feel, like you're helping people and you're inspiring them, and you've got the bandwidth now to get in shape and stay in shape. It's one of your vital behaviors. Be the proof the product works. And the other one is invite. And by invite, we mean connect with people and help people. What an incredible job. And as I learned this morning, one of the most important things, what we call a vital behavior of personal development, is not just this little thing that we tagged on. The people around that table were like, the personal development is the thing that is making my business great. It's the thing that differentiates this from my other job, where that other job is clock in, do the work, go home, repeat. And this job is about, how can I get better? How can I be better? How can I help people better? How can I overcome things? Like, that is an outrageous opportunity that you would get paid to do these 3 things. That you would get paid to be the proof the product works, that you would get paid to connect with people, that you would get paid based on your ability to improve yourself. What a model. Now when you say, right? So when you say, this infomercial business that makes these programs famous, launches them, creates this platform of familiarity, network marketing business where you get paid to help people to be the proof the product works and do personal development, and then this ability to then expand that or extend that involvement into Beachbody Live and train it, or just become more of an expert and be certified in these programs and teach them live or teach them in your house or whatever you want to do, like this ecosystem. And you look at it and you go, wait a minute, this is a problem, health and wellness, that doesn't just affect 200 million people who are obese or overweight. It affects all of us. Wellness is just a thing. So now, here's the answer to the original question. How big can this get? And I'll ask it back to you. What other company do you know of, fights for quality of product, fights for a comprehensive solution where we don't round a corner, where we want to help you get fit, we want to help you get healthy from the inside, where we'll encourage you to take a break from your fitness with things like the Ultimate Reset, where we'll have compassion about, sometimes you're going to do the quesadilla, do the fast food, and then you break it with a 3-day refresh. And we're even going to help you complement your fitness with supplements and other concepts like Beachbody On Demand that are just going to help you incorporate fitness and wellness into your life more cohesively. It's not the drug companies, it's not the medical community. While I think that wellness is the motivation behind the medical community, it's been overtaken with a prescription mentality. And we're the other side of that. And I've got to tell you, I don't know of another company that's doing that. Keep the lights on again. Keep the lights on for a second. Just sort of thing, right? Beachbody On Demand. We've got $750 of brand new of catalog product that's being moved into the Beachbody On Demand catalog in May. What's going to happen every month that you get people into Beachbody On Demand? For the same $2.99 a week, they're going to see a whole new crop of new product come up there. All of our trainers are working on new product that's going to go in there. Niches that you never thought we would develop because they wouldn't work for infomercials are now going to go on Beachbody On Demand. Little specialty things about rehab, things about sports, concepts that I can't even... My head's exploding. Right now, you are sitting on top of that as the leaders of this business. If you don't have a sense of multi-billions of dollars of potential, you're not thinking big enough. And if your team doesn't have a sense of the multi-billions of dollars of potential and the service that represents to help people, that it's true that in the community there's going to be this person, that's my Beachbody coach. Oh, who's your Beachbody coach? That's what they're going to say. They're not going to say my health and wellness advocate. They're going to say, who's your Beachbody coach? Because there's this one company that does it with a comprehensive approach. They make it fun, they make it fit, they make the nutrition work, they have rewards, and we're constantly being more and more creative every single day. Our long-term plan has no horizon. It just goes. And we don't know what it's going to look like, but with the launch of Beachbody On Demand, and some of the stuff that we're about to talk about, I've got to tell you, the creativity that we've got planned out for the next 36 months, and the ongoing hard work of fixing technology and aligning customer service and improving coach relations and improving fulfillment and improving time of shipment and accuracy of shipment, all that stuff is stuff we sweat every single day. One, because it's part of our core values of commit and deliver on your promises. Technology that we invested in 5 years ago to solve the very same problems that we've got today. I'm talking 5 years ago we invested in technology that we had to just write off the books. $35 million of investment because it was the wrong technology. That guy's gone. My point is, this is moving so fast that we're trying to get caught up constantly, and we're constantly looking ahead. If you saw what we call the two-man meeting, it's a Tuesday management meeting, and you felt the intensity, and both the intensity and the enthusiasm, and the expectation of excellence in that room, you'd share it with your teams, and you'd be like, this company's going places. 300,000 coaches is nothing. It's missing at least a 0 here in North America. It should be 3 million coaches here in North America. But we're not just going to keep it on our shores. We're going to go all over the place. So maybe it's missing another 0 to be 30 million coaches. Why not, right?
That's going to be giant.
I was reading about how Avon is looking to sell their North American unit, or what are they going to do? And I'm like, interesting. So you look at the transition of a business, $8.9 billion business. They were the #1 network marketing company. I think that now they're #2 or #3. Mary Kay, I think, is number 1 now. And I look at it and I go, wow, would I be interested in getting that business? Because there's opportunity there. Like, no way. Like, we have something so special here, and it's not about dominating an industry. What it's about is changing people's lives. And that opportunity is so huge. It's so enormous that I hope you feel it. That I hope as you're enjoying this vacation, as you're learning from this vacation, learning from the seminars and the coaches, that you're just a sponge. You're pulling it all in, and what it's feeding is the side of the brain that is like positive and sees potential and is extremely creative and validates the trust that you had in the company the day you started, and validates the fact that I'm a human being. John, the executive committee, our team, 741 human beings trying to organize and communicate in a way that is collaborative and cohesive so that you get served better. And it is hard. But I hope that you have belief in us and understand that what we see is the opportunity that these 3 businesses, direct marketing, direct marketing, network marketing, and now Beachbody Live, have the potential of creating a world-class, because it's not there yet, world-class brand under Beachbody that is truly going to solve the obesity problem, but even more important than that, it's going to completely revolutionize this concept of wellness. That's going to happen only with your belief and your ongoing enthusiasm, so that the summit that we're looking forward to, 25,000 people or whatever, that eventually, sorry Michael, that's the size of Success Club. Like, that's the kind of leadership that we need from you guys. And on our side, if you continue to bring that leadership and you see the potential that, hey man, if we're going to be a $5 billion company, that means that $2.5 billion, we're going to have to pay that to somebody. I don't know if you want it, but I bet you do. So we're going to grow this thing. We're going to grow this thing to fill this void of that is crazy that it still exists, because we've been in this for 16, 17 years now, showing that hard work actually pays off. Hard work and not a quick fix, not a gadget or a pill gets results. And we're still kind of like the only one in there that put the whole thing together. And that's because it's hard what we're doing. Sometimes people will leave the company and we'll sit around and go, oh boy, he knows a lot about this business. He knows a lot about what we do. And then we're like, oh, wait a minute. We're still trying to make this work. Good luck to him if he decides to go do it on his own. It is hard what we are trying to do because it has never been done. But the potential is huge. And the battle cry that we've got every Monday and every Tuesday when we hit the ground running is that there are hundreds of millions of people that we can serve, and that translates to billions of dollars of wealth that can be created. And by the way, let's say you're not even in the mood. Like for you, $1 million a year would be good. I don't need to make $10 million a year, but $1 million would be pretty cool. Or $100,000 would be pretty cool. But if you're a leader that has the potential to create $250,000 in value because you're that good, I hope you never stop working so hard. Because keep the 100 grand. If that's all you need, that's great. But take the 150 grand and do something powerful with it. Give it away to somebody. Give it to your church. Help some charity. What you got is a gift that needs to be deployed. And I'll say this to leaders. I'll say this to people who have been there, done that. We want you back. We want you reinvigorated, because we all have to do what we've learned here and continue to deploy it. That's what the company's committed to do, because we've got something special here. And whether we're trying to create wealth for ourselves or just bring up this value so that we can share it with others, we have to do that. It's an imperative that we do that. You have that potential. There's almost 2,000 of you coaches here at this leadership event, or this Success Club event. You are the leaders. We need you to see past what your own needs are and say, hey, if I can bring up more value, you might have been a top coach, you might have been a top 10 coach, you might have been former elite. We need you to bring up that value and then do something with the money if you don't need it. But bring up that value because that represents that you're helping people. And helping people comes in many forms. Helping people comes in, right now what we're seeing is fitness and wellness with Shakeology and Ultimate Reset, 3-day refresh, and that there's sort of stages that people go through when they get involved with the company. They start, they want to improve their health, and then they say, hey, there's a financial opportunity, and they sort of step up to this next stage. Let me combine my health and wellness with my financial opportunity. And then they say, wait a minute, I can help people around me get healthy and fit, and I can help people around me build wealth for themselves. See how this thing grows? Positive, 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 positive. 2, 3, 4. Okay? But then something happens in this next step that I think is magical. Because our best leaders are recognizing each one of these steps. So I get it on my Facebook page mostly every Thursday, and I can see the leaders that are recognizing their teams. I recognize that somebody just joins my challenge group, and they'll tag me. That's cool. They recognize that somebody just became a coach. They tag me. That's cool. They recognize that that person is creating wealth and starting to build their own team and achieving and helping people achieve wealth. And they're recognizing when people are achieving higher ranks, paying off mortgages, and so on. Okay? What's happening? The other outcome? Self-esteem is going up. I don't know of another business, another company, where self-esteem goes up by virtue of these things happening. And I call that the sort of the fourth mystery vital behavior, recognition. And I hope we all get into a bigger habit of recognizing each one of those things. Go ahead and tag in it, but that's leadership. That's how you continue to bring your people along, is recognize their successes along the way. And what we're going to find is that the fitness programs that we launch, they don't all have to be the 21-day fix. They don't all have to be the Insanity Max 30. They don't all have to be PIO or P90X3 or Brazil butt lift or even Beachbody on demand. Because each one of them, as we recognize, we're going to see that there are new opportunities with each launch, and that brings a new batch of people in. Speaking of which, I think we're about to bring a new batch of people in.
What do you think?
UK, England.
That's what I think.
England.
Everybody said that hard work will never sell. And I remember we were at this lunch and we showed people what we had in mind with Power 90, and they were like, oh, you're showing people do hard work on an infomercial? Well, that'll never work. And we were like, well, it's kind of fitness, and John and I were like, well, I would do that. I wouldn't do that stair-stepper thing or whatever. So we're like, let's give that a shot. And maybe there's a million people like us out there. And that has evolved over time. And we've been talking about putting together a program. As we saw the success of the more intense programs, obviously P90X was the one that really sort of raised the bar. And then after that, Insanity really raised the bar, and then Turbo Fire, and Asylum, and the P90X2 and P90X3, and then in terms of the extreme programs, 21-Day Fix Extreme. And we saw that there's a certain component of people that just like to work harder. Now, there's also a component of people that like to work hard, but the concept of fitness to work hard is not all that exciting to them. They want to work hard, but this idea of calisthenics, push-ups, lifting, and whatever, they need to have some other mental component that will engage them so that they get their fitness in. Okay, some of you are already aware of it, but none of you have seen it to this extent. So, if you guys are ready, I'd like to give you a peek at what's coming. Summit 2015. I introduce to you the end of exercise. Please roll the clip.
What's the name?
You know, with my fitness programs, like my job is to want to work out. people are going to want to dance. I created size because people wanted it, and I believe that everyone can dance. Not only are you learning choreography, but it's broken down in steps. This is the choreography in its most basic form. Awesome. Side to side. Check it out. Very easy. Now I want you guys to act like you're on a boat and you're rowing nice and low. We're going to talk about it. It's really bad because every movement that I do, you've done before in your life. All I got to do is put these in order and I'm actually doing the dance move. It's not about doing push-ups. It's not about doing jumps. It's about moving to the beat. You guys, you hit it last time. Come on, y'all. Bam, are you ready? Here we go.
That made me feel like it's really cool.
First thing people say when they say can you dance, they say I can't dance. How do you know? Because you never really tried it.
It's super fun. You kind of don't even realize you're working out as you're doing it. Because you're so focused. And then by the end, you're just like, I'm drenched. You didn't shower, and then you want to come back with it again.
These are all things that you've done with your body before. I'm just putting it into a rhythm so you know exactly how to do it. It's just like you're at the post office and somebody walks by your shoulder and you're like, move. And you're like, move. Move. You're dancing. Every day you're dancing. You just don't have a beat. Size will change.
So, let me just set this up for a second, what we had in mind, what we visualized with this, because I remember the conversation where we first talked about it, and that is that, look,